Oops. Yeah, better get that.
Is everybody good?
How's the audio? We good on audio?
Yeah.
We good? I'm Detective Jeff Manley from the City of Snellville Police Department. I'm in the Criminal Investigations Division. We had an incident last night at the City of Snellville Police Department where a woman brought her granddaughter to the emergency room at the Piedmont Hospital located here in Snellville. The child was an 8-month-old female. Her granddaughter, doctors examined the child and determined that the child was deceased. Our officers conducted a follow-up investigation and determined that the child had been left in a car at Snellville City Hall off of Oak Road. The child expired from being exposed in the vehicle for a long period of time. The investigation determined that the child's father left the child in the car and came to the City of Snellville Police Department. He was here at the Snellville Police Department to pick up a firearm that had been kept at property. Our standard procedure as far as firearms is we do not release firearms to someone until we conduct a background check on that person to make sure that we're not turning the weapon over to a convicted felon. We checked the background on this individual, and he came back with a warrant hit for a probation violation. He was arrested here in the lobby of the City of Snellville Police Department for that warrant violation after 2 p.m. He was transported to the Gwinnett County Detention Center. He was on video the entire time from the moment he walked into the Snellville Police Department to the moment he was transported and released to deputies for processing in the Gwinnett County Detention Center. He made no statements as to the fact that his daughter was left in the car 2 buildings away from the Snellville Police Department. Our officer later discovered that the child was in fact in the car, and the grandmother had removed the child and brought her to the ER, and the child was in fact deceased.
Had he made any phone calls to anyone while he was here?
I can't go into any details on that. It's still an active investigation, but he did not make any statements the entire time he was transported. He was in the presence of our officers for over 40 minutes, recorded on dash cam and body cam, and he made no statements that the child was present.
About how many hours was this child left in the car, do we think?
I don't have an exact time frame, but I believe he was in the lobby here at Snellville around 2 o'clock, and I don't think the grandmother presented the child until before 10 p.m.
Can you confirm that she found the child in that vehicle?
That was my understanding, but I don't have all the details on that at this point.
Do you know why she went to the vehicle?
I believe she was alerted by him at some time later that she went to check on the child. That was my understanding.
So he did have a way to get in touch with the grandmother then at some point after he was...
Again, I didn't want to comment on something that I'm not clear on. I know that she came to the car to look for the child and then brought the child to the ER.
And do we know if the child was dead already when the grandmother found her in the car?
The child was deceased, yes.
Is she cooperating with the investigation?
I can't comment on that. It's still ongoing.
Do we know a time frame of when the child died? How long she'd been in the car deceased?
I don't yet. That would be determined by the medical examiner's office in Gwinnett County.
So was Watley facing charges in connection to the death? And he bonded out of jail overnight, is that right?
Correct. He was arrested when he came to the lobby here for the probation violation warrant that was outstanding. So he did bond out of jail late last night on that charge.
Will he face additional charges now?
The GBI is going to cover that aspect.
What kind of vehicle was it?
I don't know. It was a passenger car, I believe, but I haven't seen it.
And was it running? Do we know anything? Windows down?
I don't know.
The initial press release that came out today mentioned that the grandmother had talked about a traffic stop when she...
There was no traffic stop whatsoever. That did not happen.
Is that how you were in possession of the gun?
No, the gun stemmed from a previous incident that was taken into police property here. This man came to the police department to say that it was his weapon and he wanted it returned to him. As I understand it, he was okay to have the weapon returned to him, but again, our policy is we check background on anybody that's picking up a fire because we can't release a weapon to somebody if they're banned from owning a weapon.
Can you say what the incident was?
I don't know what it was.
Can I just ask, just from a personal perspective, you hear of an 8-month-old baby girl killed in a hot car, 86 degrees was the high yesterday. As just a person, what goes through your mind?
I'm absolutely astounded that somebody would leave an 8-month-old in a car and park away from our building and walk up here knowing that child was in the car and leave him there. I'm astounded.
Can you describe his demeanor? Did he seem worried about anything during all of this?
I didn't speak to him, so I can't speak to that.
Where does the investigation stand right now?
The GBI is going to cover that. It's still an active investigation.
And just to reiterate, he never indicated once that there was a child in his car.
That's correct. We have him on video from the time he walked into this lobby to the time that we transported him to Gwinnett County Detention Center and released him to sheriff's deputies there. He was on video the entire time. He never made a statement that child was in the car.
What time was he transferred to the Gwinnett County?
I don't have the exact time.
It does look like he has a history with your agency. Can you talk about that at all and his past?
I don't know what his history is with us. I'm going to let the GBI speak.
My name is Lisa Verassi, and I'm an Assistant Special Agent in charge of the Georgia Bureau of Investigation Atlanta Regional Office. The GBI and the Snellville Police Department announced the arrest of David Watley, 20, of Grayson, Georgia, in the death of his 8-month-old daughter, Nova Grace Watley Trejo. Watley has been charged with second-degree murder. Watley was arrested this morning with the assistance of the Gwinnett County Police Department SWAT, Snellville Police Department Criminal Investigative Division, and the Snellville Police Department Uniform Patrol. Watley will be transported to the Gwinnett County Jail later this afternoon.
What are his charges?
Second-degree murder.
A little bit about that SWAT arrest this morning. Was he resistant? Was he hiding? Did he know that you guys were coming?
We're not prepared to talk about that at this time.
So he was released overnight from the other incident, and then you guys arrested him this morning?
That's correct.
And it's just second-degree murder?
Yes.
Okay.
Will you spell the name of the little girl?
It's Nova, Nova, Grace, Grace, Watley, Whatley, dash Trejo, it's Trejo.
Can you say what comes next? Any further involvement as far as this investigation?
The investigation is still ongoing.
Have you been in contact with the child's mother?
Again, this is our statement at this time.
These are all the questions we're prepared to answer right now. If we do have additional information, we'll be sure to provide it. That concludes the news conference.
I have one final question. Can you spell your last name for me?
Verassi, it's V like Victor, O-R-R-A, S as in Sam, I.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.